For an adjudication trial as it relates to Roberto Anaya III. There's only one child concerned with today's hearing, which is the youngest child. We were scheduled to begin at 1:30. We had a brief attorney conference around that time, and then Mr. Brooks was unavailable to us for a bit. And by agreement, we're back on at this particular time. We have the names of our participants, please.
Lee Heiss, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Harvey.
Sarah Harvey, DHHS.
Michael Brooks, I represent Father Mr. Anaya.
Your name for the record?
Roberto Anaya III.
Thank you.
Jennifer Constantino, attorney for the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians.
Anything by way of opening, Ms. Thomas?
General waive opening, thank you.
Counselors?
No opening, Your Honor.
I think it would be instructive, at least to me, to know what the role of the tribe is in this case.
Ms. Constantino.
Both children in this case, but more specifically, Roberto is eligible for membership in the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians via his mother. So the tribe would like to participate in the case to make sure that ICWA and MIFPA are followed, and the heightened evidentiary standards and necessary findings are made as we go through the case.
May I ask, is Robert a registered member or simply eligible for membership?
It is my understanding that at this time he is just eligible for membership.
Subject to his family making the application.
That is correct.
All right. Witness testimony then, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Honor. I would call Mr. Roberto Anaya III. Thank you. Mr. Anaya, how would you like me to address you today?
Robert's fine. Roberto.
Okay.
Take it again.
Do you prefer Roberto?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up in this town, so everyone calls me Bobby. It depends on who you are. It's one of those names.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're being respectful to you and your wishes, so I will refer to you as Roberto if that's okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Roberto, are you the father of Roberto?
I am, correct.
And can you, because we are on YouTube, can you remind me of his month and year date of birth?
I know he just turned 5. I have 8 children. That's a difficult question to ask sometimes. I have a lot more stuff on my mind besides his birthday today. I'm sorry. He just had it that I missed again. I was not able to participate in that due to his mother's choice.
And you said he just had a birthday. Do you mean
well,
like
she had a
just?
Party. I had heard she had just had a party for him through people, because that's how I have to find out about my son, is through others. The reason we're here is because she got in trouble again, and before I could file my court order to friend of the court, now I'm here. I pay my child support. I see my son. I don't know why I haven't been able to see my son yet to this day right now. I have not seen my son since December, second week of December 22. That's a long time. Part of it's mine. I have 7 other children. 6 of them I take care of still that are younger. And I just didn't have the extra money to pay to go see Judge Olsaver one more time, because the last court order, he mentioned that if we came to court again about her keeping me from my son, that she would be incarcerated. So this is where I'm at. I have no idea. I mean, I heard that now they got to fight again. This would be, I know last time he went after her with a hammer and he was on probation. I don't know what happened this time, but I want to see my son. I don't know why I can't see my son.
I understand that, sir. And that's what we're hoping to figure out today, how to make that happen in a way that's safe to him. Okay. Can you, and I know that you've mentioned some stuff about mom being the reason you haven't seen him. Can you tell us a little bit about, you said the last time you saw him was the second week of December of 2022. Is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
And can you tell us a little bit more about why you haven't seen him since then?
Okay. The reason I haven't seen him since then is because I didn't have the extra money or time to come to Lenawee County. I live an hour away. So this is the third day I missed work. The first time I got to talk to anyone, lawyer, anybody. I didn't file the motion in time. I got the motion here and dated 2 of them, which I came, but I just didn't fill them out and put them with the worker. I talked to her, she sent me pamphlets, and at that time too, my mother got sick and I moved to Toledo to take care of my mom, and I have all the dates and everything of picking him up and dropping him off and everything. My mom had gotten sick and I had been dealing with her and the other children. And if I go even try and go be around him, all she has to do is call the police again and have guns to my face. That has happened before to me because I'm calling them saying I'm gonna threaten her life or something. My hands are tied here. So I couldn't have the extra money and time to come file the motion before she got in trouble again. It had been a lapse in time, yes. That's on my fault, but I also, like I say, I have other children also, not just Bobby. And I really don't have much success in this county growing up here and stuff, so I try and stay away from here.
I understand that. And you stated that you have no back child support, correct?
I do. I owe $1,000, I believe, on 3 children.
But as it relates to this child?
You know, that's something that I wanted to ask also, because I have the state of Ohio taking money for my 2 daughters, and then I have the state of Michigan taking money for my son, and it's all mixed up because the payments aren't coming out. They're coming out all different. It's mixed up. So it needs to be addressed. I've been just doing what I do. I mean, they take all my taxes. I don't get none of that. I mean, I pay my payments when I can, you know. I know I'm only behind $1,000 on 3 children.
Okay, thank you. And you stated you haven't filed motions and you had some papers with you. Yes. Can you just elaborate a little bit more about what motions you were intending on filing?
Okay, it is a custody parenting time violation. And I filed that with the worker. And then I have to go down to the county clerk's office and I pay money for, I forget what it is, filing fees or whatever. I know it's like almost $200 now is what I paid last time. And to take the time and come down here and do all that, that was on my part that I didn't do. And that's, the court order's in motion. As far as I know, I still have my court order. I never violated it. I don't understand how they can oversee that and take it away from you and start a new one. This is what I got found out this morning, that my court order from the judge last time, Mr. Oldsaver, does not matter now. They changed it to a different one. And I don't know what's going on. I got a few things in the mail. I've had the same address for 7 years. How could I not get notified about things? I'm at a loss here. I mean, do they not go downstairs and ask the friend of the court for the father's address? I'm here for abandonment? Really? I mean, it's ridiculous. I have piles of stuff that's just, I don't know how they stay in business over there.
Can you help us understand what efforts you have made to communicate with your child since December of 2022?
I go by all the time. I've tried to take boxes of stuff for my son, diapers, toothpaste, clothes, everything. She gives it away to all the neighbors because she don't want nothing to do with me. So I'll spend money on all that stuff. I've made efforts, and the efforts I've get is guns to my face with her false accusations telling the police that I'm there to murder her. And I'm not doing that stuff no more. I don't want to go to jail.
When is the last time that you attempted to drop off supplies to your child?
After I did the 2 well-being visits through the sheriff's department, I quit bringing that stuff. I had to have them go there and check on my child and make sure he's okay because I had no way of finding out how he is. Twice.
Do you recall this time? Do you recall about when that was?
I do not, and I tried to go over there to see if they could find that out, and they're pretty busy, so I didn't push on it too much, but I did have them go to the house twice to see if he was okay during that time span because I knew nothing about him. Last time I had any contact or talking with his mother was when he had all of his teeth replaced. He's just turned 5 and he has all fake teeth in the back. That's, you know, it's the list is endless. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I talked with Michael Brooks. I understand he is a court-appointed attorney. He's very busy. He does a good job. I didn't have the money to go hire one that I could sit down with and do more hours with and get stuff properly prepared for you.
So I'm just trying to understand the timeline. And so you've stated that the last time you saw him was December of 2022, but then you've tried
That was my last visit. I'm sorry.
Nope, that's okay. So then you tried to see him since then. And I'm just trying to figure out when was the last time you visited?
That I seen him, that he seen me?
No, just the last time that you attempted to see him.
3 weeks ago, maybe less than 3 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. I can't stop there. She'll put me in jail. She'll just punch herself and tell him I beat her up or something. I don't trust it.
And you do have a friend of the court caseworker, correct? Is that what you said?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. And how often are you in communication with your caseworker about the parenting time violation?
The last time I talked with her is when she sent me this last form that I filled out, and I never took it back within that time frame. I had heard through the community that she was in trouble again, not by no worker or anything. I had heard one time by a friend that's on the police force, and another time by just rumor that she was in jail and my son's with who knows who, and my address is the same.
Okay. And so
phone number might have changed, but my address never did.
Again, so I'm just trying to understand timelines. The last time that you have the date from your caseworker that you spoke with her, about when was that?
I say, no, what month is it right now? It's 9 right now, or it's 8 still. Today's the 28th. Okay. Wow, probably about 5/13 of 20.
Okay.
A while back, a few months. Do you understand, ma'am? If I don't pay my child support, I get incarcerated. I have to keep working. I don't have much legal time. This is my 3rd day that I miss work coming here for this, that I don't get paid for. And this is the first time I'm actually even to be able to see a judge or anyone. I was not properly notified at all. I'm very upset at this. This has happened months back. I'm still wanting to know why CPS hasn't got my son in counseling for being molested 2 years ago. I just totally cut out of that picture. Nobody ever called me back. No callbacks, nothing. I got tons of stuff.
I understand, Mr. Naya, and I'm hopeful that Mr. Brooks can help present your side of the story too. There's just a few questions that I'd like to get through, and hopefully we can do that. And you stated you currently live in Toledo, is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
And you live with your mother, you said?
I take care of my elderly mother, yes. I'm an only child.
Your housing, is it something that we just consider is your housing situation? Are you on like the mortgage, lease, or anything like that?
I mean, my mom is almost in her 80s. Everything is paid for, so it's my mom's place. We have the bank accounts are in both our names, stuff like that. You know, I don't think the house is in my name yet, but.
Okay. And there's no risk to foreclosure or any back taxes or anything?
Our house is the only house paid for probably within a mile, probably. There's some nice houses.
Okay. And in your house, you said that you have many other children. Do you have like a bedroom that your child could go to if he were to have parenting time with you?
He has his own bedroom already. He has had it.
And have you had overnights with him in the past?
Correct. Yes, I had unsupervised visits on this last court order, and I don't get them anymore.
So
she had, at our last court hearing, the mother had told the judge that she had no way of contacting me on a phone. Later, at the end of that court hearing, she was caught lying by Judge Oldsaber, and there's always a way to get a hold of me. I mean, I do go through cell phones. I drop them, I break them. I'm horrible with phones. So I probably had a lot of numbers in the past, but I don't even want a cell phone, to be honest with you, besides pictures. But, yeah, so there, I mean, been there forever now.
And your last custody order that Judge Olsaver signed, you stated, do you recall the terms of your parenting time through that order?
Yeah, I would pick him up at the time that was ridiculous. 7 Friday afternoon. So he's so tired that by the time I got him to the place, he's sleeping. Saturday, I'd spend the day with him, and then Sunday he has to be at home at 9 in the morning. So what kind of visit is that? I got 1 day every 2 weeks.
And okay, so that was an every other weekend arrangement? Yep. Okay.
And I have to drive an hour one way, ma'am.
Understandable. And Roberto, you said you are employed and you've had to miss some work time.
Yes.
I don't want to violate your privacy too much, but do you mind sharing where you're employed at?
I build dreams. I build classic cars for a living.
And is
That's supposed
that
to be funny? I'm sorry.
Do you no, you can, are you self-employed or is that through an employer?
Right now I'm self-employed. I've been just stolen from shop to shop. So I'm doing my own cars now.
And on average, you mentioned that you have wages being withheld.
Well, I mean, I could be paying my child support payment. I owe $1,000, you know, could be working.
So do you issue yourself a paycheck is more of what I'm wondering.
Yes.
Okay. And then when that goes through, like your income taxes are withheld and then your child support.
I'm not sure how all that works. I have an accountant. I'm not sure how all that works.
And do you believe that, or through your employment, are you able to meet all of your financial obligations?
Never enough money.
And you mentioned that you have several other children. Do you have any other children with Ms. Papour?
Yes.
How
they
many
are
other
registered with the tribe.
Okay.
That's not
how many
my
other
choice either.
How many other children do you have with her?
I have 3 boys with her.
Including your youngest?
No, he's the 3rd. I have a set of twins that are 7 and Bobby that's 5.
And where are your twins that are 7?
I adopted them to my aunt. She takes care of them. At the time, I had 3 teenage boys and 2 babies, and I ran my own shop, and I just was too much. So I adopted the 2 to my aunt. She fostered them in for me.
Okay. And do you still have a relationship with them?
I do. Since this incident, I have not also.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on between her and my mother and my children, but no, she doesn't let me see them either now.
Okay.
And hasn't.
So you were aware that Ms. Papour had a history of CPS involvement and termination of parental rights?
Yeah, I've caught CPS workers hiding in bushes at my house before. Yes, I know that.
Okay. Did you, and when you were going through the custody matter with your youngest child, did you have any concerns about whether he would be at a risk of harm in her care?
Yes, I did. And I had mentioned that at the last court hearing. That's why Judge Olsaver had also told me that if anything happened with me not seeing my son, that she would be incarcerated and I would get my son and be able to see him and not have no more time missed.
And you mentioned that you just recently found out about CPS involvement for your youngest child. Do you recall how you found out?
I had found out by a worker calling me, I believe. Let me rethink that. Hold on a second. Oh, I got a letter in the mail. Yep, that said I'll be in charge with abandonment. That's how I found out. They were going to charge me with abandonment. That's why I'm here today, I believe. I don't even have a court paper with my name on the front of it saying that I'm supposed to be here, ma'am.
Okay, so you did not receive an order?
Not
With, like,
until
a
after the fact.
And did you reach out to the caseworker who sent you the letter?
Many times. I've talked with many caseworkers. I'm not sure of her last name. I know her first name's Sarah. I've talked, she's the third or fourth CPS worker that I've talked to since I found out about this incident. Fourth. I talked with Megan, who gave me a wrong court date, so I was not be at court first, because she told me that she was investigating a case that had involved the twins with me and Tiffany last time. So I'm already getting thrown under the bus by her. Told me the wrong court date, never got a paper on it or anything. That's how I didn't have no communication with the tribe. I reached out to the tribe, left a message 2 times, and then I started doing my footwork. I received something in the mail from them. I went and seen an attorney. I took it to them. They told me to come down here. I got a totally different paper from here than that they gave me, because the one they gave me is just all blank lines. The one I got from here tells me why and who and what. So
okay.
I have those here also.
And you've said that you talked with several caseworkers. Were you able to meet with any of them in person at all?
Well, one of them had scheduled a home visit to come out and do a home visit, and then canceled at the last minute, wasn't able to make it. So that's the one that I talked to. Another one that I talked to told me that she was letting me know what's going on, and she was the investigator, and there'd be a worker that came out. And then I talked with a worker that came out, sent me to a place to get an evaluation, and went down to CPS to talk to them about the case. But I've made a lot of efforts on my own. I'm just getting kind of shifted from the question, I guess. I'm frustrated. I want to see my son.
I understand that. And you mentioned that a worker was going to send you for an evaluation. Do you recall what that evaluation was for?
No, because I was not in trouble. I don't even know. I didn't get in trouble. She was the one that got in trouble. They wanted to evaluate me and send me to counseling, is my impression. I drove twice there. The second time they told me that I had to pay money. I can't afford to give them money to go to counseling to see my son. I didn't do nothing. So that's where we're at.
Okay. And you don't have an attorney for the custody matter?
No.
Roberto, if the court does not take jurisdiction over you and your child, the court can defer to the custody order, and that would reinstate your every other weekend parenting time, or something else. It's up to the court. Would you be in a position to provide that proper custody to your child today?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any concerns about whether your child would recognize you or still have a bond to you, given the length of time you haven't seen him?
No, I don't think so. I think I just have to look into his eyes. He would know. I would have no problem with that.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions of Mr. Anaya, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Constantino, any questions?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Anaya, I want to start with some very basic questions for you, okay? You brought up repeatedly that Judge Oldsaver has made statements to you from the bench on the record, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
Do you,
Correct, sir.
I'm not Your Honor.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Do you understand that you are not in Judge Oldsaver's court?
I do, but
This is Judge Sala, and she is the probate judge.
that's where I got mixed up, sir. I don't know the difference.
And well,
I mean,
that's why I'm
I know the
asking the
difference.
question.
Right.
And on the third floor is the circuit judge, right?
Which is also Oldsaver?
That is Oldsaver.
Okay.
Judge Oldsaver's on the third floor, Judge
Friend of
Sala's
court.
on the second floor.
Okay. And then for Child Protective Services, it's Judge Sala and CPS.
Right,
Okay. Two different things.
yeah. So when a circuit judge says whatever, and it's not part of this judge's court hearing in this room, it's not her ruling and she probably doesn't know anything about it. Do you understand that?
I do now.
And I think we have a lot of that going on here right this minute. By the same token, the Department of Health and Human Services was not part of your circuit court adventures. And they know very little about what goes on in circuit court. You could say the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, I suppose, but to be perfectly fair, both courts are very, very busy. Okay?
Yes, I understand that.
So this judge is hearing your story probably for one of the first times.
Correct.
Now, you say you haven't seen your child since December of 2022. Is that correct?
I haven't held him or spent father-son time with him since that time, correct?
All right. Do you have a parenting time order from the circuit court on the 3rd floor?
Yes, sir.
What does it say?
It says that if that violation happens, that I
Now,
found.
what are you entitled to in terms of, what are you?
I'm entitled to 2 weekends a month,
Okay,
every other.
okay. Has that order ever been suspended or altered that you're aware of?
No,
So as far as you know, it's good to this day.
yes, correct.
All right. Can you tell me if you know, and maybe you don't know, why the police are coming to your, is she your ex-wife or?
I've
Just
never
a
been
mother?
married, sir. She's the mother of my 3 boys.
Got it.
Youngest.
Do you know why the police are coming to her house when you show up to exercise parenting time?
No,
They don't tell you anything?
I'm not the one that called them sometimes. They could tell very little.
Okay. Obviously you leave.
Yeah,
Good sense, you know. You're paying child support.
correct.
Do you know how much child support you're paying per week, per month?
I believe it's 150 a month, maybe.
$150 a month?
I believe it's something in that, right in that ballpark. I pay for 3 little ones right now.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you next. Your total child support bill is about $1,000 a month?
It's 3 little ones. I have to look further into that. I have that paper somewhere in this box over there.
But Roberto, believe it's $150.
Yes, I'm somewhere in that ballpark.
All right. Are you in arrears in that child support?
Yes,
How far?
1,000 on all 3 of them.
1,000 on all 3.
Correct. Ever since I moved to Ohio, it changed the payment stream. I don't believe it's messed up.
I understand. I understand why you're confused. Let me put it that way, okay?
Yeah.
Now, when did the Department of Health and Human Services get a hold of it?
About the second court hearing,
Well,
I
that doesn't help me. About Roberto.
Okay, before you answer that question, can you give me the case number that you were gonna file those requests for parenting time under?
here's a
I'm
blank.
trying to find your case file.
I have documents from.
You do. I do. Okay, well, I think it would be best to get a hold of the right case file anyway, so, yeah.
You want the number of the one that I have?
I think so, yeah, just find me anything on these guys.
Yep, I can.
Thanks, all right.
When did you first, if to the extent you can give me a date, when did you first find out about problems with the Department of Health and Human Services?
2 years ago. About the incident where he was fondled by the neighbor boy or
Okay. The recent problem.
with Malik.
No, I'm not interested in young Mr. Nash. I'm interested in Roberto. They're claiming they want to take jurisdiction of Roberto because of your actions. Do you understand
No,
that?
I don't. Can you say that again, please?
They're claiming you have abandoned Roberto. You understand that?
Yeah, I do now.
Makes you extremely angry, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's.
We know that you last saw Roberto in December of last year,
Correct.
2022. When did you find out they were accusing you of abandoning Roberto?
90 days ago, maybe, not even 60 days.
Early 23.
Yeah, very early.
Have you contacted anybody from the department?
Correct, I've been down there also.
The welfare department?
Yes.
Who have you spoken to, if you recall?
Oh, Mrs. Burgess.
Burgess, Brenda Burgess.
Yeah, because Megan skipped out again and she wasn't able to be there or something.
Megan.
McVeigh.
All right.
She's the one that contacted me originally before anybody did, and I don't even see her here.
And that was all in the early part of 2023.
Correct.
Now, is it your understanding, aside from the allegation that you quote unquote abandoned, aside from that, that this case got revved up again because of Ms. Poopor's involvement with her older son? Is it Malik?
Correct. Yes, I do.
And then they added you into boot.
Yep, I've had 11 workers. She's number 11 down there at CPS in my life here in Lenawee County.
Do you know whether or not they have your current telephone number?
Yes, they do. I have been texting.
All right. You live in your mother's house in Toledo.
Correct.
You live there, and who else lives there?
My mom, that's it.
There's no third unrelated female lives with you?
Brianna's been staying with us for about less than a month now.
Who is Brianna?
Friend of mine behind you.
All right. Do you have a relationship with this lady?
Yes.
All right. Are there any other children that live in that home?
No.
So there's just 3 adults living in this home.
Correct.
And how many bedrooms?
4.
All right.
3 that are suitable. 1 that I call a bedroom, but it's just a little space you relax, I guess.
All right. Where does Roberto go to school? Do you know?
No.
Do you know if he does go to school?
No. I know he went to school when I was seeing him.
Have there been attempts by the department to contact you, sir, that you haven't responded to?
No.
Other than a suspended driver's license, second offense, do you have any kind of police involvement?
I had got a ticket this last summer, and I have a copy of that here for,
I'm sorry to interrupt. That was supposed to be an 8, and you had it down as a 3. They corrected it for you.
thank you, sir.
Okay, the record should also reflect that I can produce file number 18-45859DS. So I'm taking judicial notice of this file, and I'll share that. And anyone who needs to see that or has any questions.
Police involvement?
Yes.
You were telling me about a ticket.
I got a ticket this summer, and I was charged with, I attempted to commit a crime, and I paid a fine and left. It was just a civil ticket deal.
What was the crime?
I got caught with someone else's jacket on it, and it had something in the pocket that didn't belong to me, and
You were given a ticket?
well, I was arrested, took to jail, got let out in a couple hours, and then went to court and fought my case, and I attempted to commit that crime, so I took that charge.
All right.
I paid a $340 ticket and walked out of the courthouse.
Have you ever attempted to get custody of Roberto?
No.
Could you tell the court why?
This goes back to the twins that we had before. And when CPS was involved with that, it just ripped our everything we had apart. And
Was that a Lenawee County
Yes, sir.
case?
yes, sir. Got really bad, and I was gonna get the boys for myself, and I just was so overwhelmed. I have 3 that I was sending to Lenawee Christian School, and I just couldn't do it by myself, so I adopted them to my aunt. And
Would it be fair to say you just didn't want to dive into that hell again?
yes, sir.
What's your position today? Would you like to get custody of
I
this
would
boy?
love to have my son.
Are you in a position where you could have this boy?
Very well.
When is the last time you had a non-confrontational conversation with Roberto, the mother?
I can't even remember, sir.
Years ago?
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say she hates your guts?
No.
No, she hates
Oh,
your.
yeah, she does. There was a huge walk to walk with the twins, you know, and as a man, being tore down as humiliating as I had to be for me. I adopted them to my aunt so that she also could be a part of their lives, because if I would have got custody of them and kept them, she would have never been able to see them again. And I did that because I
Who
found
is she, sir?
this purport so she could interact and be in their lives. And I thought as a man, I did that, and days don't go by now that I don't regret that decision.
Right now, we have a pending, not pending, but you have a case before the bench upstairs on the 3rd floor, right? That's an active case, right?
Correct.
This court is deciding whether it's going to take jurisdiction of this child, and we're talking about Roberto, take jurisdiction itself. Do you understand that?
Yeah, and I do understand what you're telling me, but I don't see how it could even be to that point when my son should be with me. And I've been thrown under the bus.
And do you understand that the judge, although she doesn't have to, can take superior jurisdiction of this case? I told you about that, didn't I?
Yes.
But she doesn't have to.
Correct.
And she can simply leave it with Judge Oldsaver. You understand that?
I do now.
But if it was left with Judge Oldsaver, the child's probably going to stay right where he's at, and the judge is just going to say, get some parenting time for this man. That's basically what he said, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know, because I don't, has Ms. Pupar, has the court taken jurisdiction over Ms. Pupar in this case?
I believe so.
But the boy has remained at this point with her?
Yep.
What's your opinion of that?
I don't even understand it, to be honest with you. I don't know how he could be there.
Does she present a danger to your son?
Yes.
Why?
Well, have I seen in the past? I don't know about now. She has people around, and the place she stays is not good for a child.
Do you know where she lives?
Yes.
Is it in Lenawee County?
Yes.
Does she live alone other than your son?
No, I don't. I believe she has a boyfriend. She has had one, several, I don't know.
But you don't know who he is?
I've seen him once or twice. I don't know who she's with. No, I don't. I don't know who. I have numerous pictures on my phone where she sends me him sleeping with other men. I don't know who they are.
I have nothing further. Thank you, sir. Other people may have questions for you, so don't leave.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
No, sir.
Okay.
Ms. Heiss.
So your son Roberto is with a bad mom. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not saying she's a bad mom in the sense of taking care of her son and loving him, but I'm saying that she's a bad mom that she has let people around him that have hurt him and danger to him.
But you can't help Roberto. Is that true?
No.
Well, what's been holding you up?
What do you mean?
Why haven't you helped him to get away from this mother?
Didn't you listen to what I explained to Mr.
Yeah,
Gross?
let me interrupt you. I think it's because, she'll call the cops, right?
Correct?
Your mom is sick, you live an hour away, you have 8 kids, you've given clothes and she gave it to the neighbors. You complained to CPS that he'd been molested and nothing came of it. You work and can't miss work. You don't have money or time to help. Are those some of the reasons?
Who are you, ma'am? I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
Are those some of the reasons?
Could I ask who you are first?
Your Honor, would you instruct him to answer the question, then I can address his concerns?
Yes, Mr. Anaya, as she introduced herself at the beginning of this hearing, she's the guardian ad litem representing the child, both children in this case. Please answer the question.
Okay. Guardian ad litem, I'm confused what that even is. Is that foster care?
You need to take that up with your
I
attorney.
don't even know her. Okay.
She is the guardian ad litem for the children. She is the attorney appointed to advocate on behalf of the children.
Okay.
So I need you to answer her question, please.
Could you say that question again? It was pretty long.
So she is a mother that you think shouldn't have Roberto.
Correct.
Do you think he should be with you?
Yes.
But you can't help him get to you, right?
I have not had the time to file the motion since she got in trouble the last time, correct?
But do you hear how that sounds?
It does sound kind of whack, you know? I mean, I do admit that.
So that's.
What do you want me to do? I mean, I don't know how to talk to her. I don't know who she is.
Sir,
You need to answer the question.
just like on your court-appointed
Okay.
attorney,
All right.
who you really didn't know before.
Right.
The court has appointed that lawyer, she's a lawyer.
Okay.
They have appointed that lawyer in effect to speak for the best interests of your children. Just like I have a legitimate role here,
Okay.
she has a legitimate role
Okay,
here.
I see now.
Okay?
Yep.
So
Forgive
Judge
me for interrupting.
Judge
Thank
Olsager
you.
said he was gonna help you with your parenting time if she violated again. Isn't that true?
Yes,
She's violated again?
yes.
You need to do anything about it?
I did file the motion in time between the time she got in trouble and the time till now.
So also, isn't it true that you're supposed to be doing exchanges at the Adrian Police Department when you pick up Roberto?
That's not on the court order, but that's what the mother wanted, but that's not on the court order.
You would agree, though, that that would be part of helping the exchanges go better?
For her, yeah, to benefit her. She never brings them, she never drops them off. She never helps with anything like that. It's always where she wants to meet and what time.
So if the court order says that you're supposed to exchange the child at the Adrian Police Department, that's just not something that you're doing?
It's not something that's in the court order.
All right, January 25th of 2022, you don't have that order?
It's not on. It says there, Adrian Police Department?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's not where we met to drop the boy off several times. I thought that was something that she had asked.
How long would it take you to support this child and have him out of a bad situation?
Instantly,
Right now, today?
instantly.
Why couldn't you do that since May, since they've been contacting you about this?
Because I have not filed the motion since the time she got in trouble till now.
4 months,
4 months, yes.
but you can do it today.
Between them 4 months, 2 times, 2 of them months I was talking with CPS. How come I was never explained things? I don't even know what's going on. I'm starting to understand now. I didn't know who you are, man.
But you can do it today?
Yes,
You have the filing fees?
sure. Let's
Yeah.
do it, yeah. I'm happy. That's just the 3rd day I missed working to pay for my other children and support everything. Yes, I would love to do that today.
What's stopping?
The courts.
In what way?
CPS,
What way is CPS stopping you?
because they have got me here. I shouldn't be to this point, man. Why couldn't they find my address when this first happened and got a hold of me instantly? I would have been right there.
Your Honor, I have no other questions.
Any redirect?
No,
Ms. Thomas?
Yes, I have a few questions. Roberto, when you made contact with Miss Burgess, were you offered any parenting time?
I was offered counseling and an assessment.
And were you explained
And then after that
counseling and the assessment?
would be so that I could get to have parenting time, but I had to do that first.
And what was your response to that?
fine, as long as I don't have to pay for anything. And then I got there, they wanted me to pay.
Do you have private insurance that would be able to?
I just have regular insurance through the state. I don't have no healthcare plan or anything like that.
And did you explain that to the worker?
She never asked that. Or, no, she might have asked that the second time I was there to do it. Because the first time I had mixed up her appointment with the counseling lady. So I was at the counseling when I was supposed to be with the worker. So then by the time I got to the counseling, she couldn't fit me in because I was at the worker. And then I came back and went to the counseling, and then she says, okay, where's your money, or how are we gonna pay for this? And I said, I'm not paying for this. Nobody told me that. And then I went back.
Okay. And do you currently have a valid driver's license?
Not in the state of Michigan.
Do you have a valid driver's license in Ohio?
No.
You mentioned that you were recently arrested for attempt to commit a crime. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And that you had someone else's jacket on or in your vehicle?
I had my someone else's jacket on. I was shopping inside a store, and they thought I was the wrong person in the store. And I was arrested, went to court, and that's the ticket I got.
What was in the jacket that would have been a crime?
A controlled substance, a very small amount.
Do you have a history of using any controlled substances?
Yes, but not that kind of controlled substance, ma'am.
Okay. And when is the last time that you used a controlled substance?
A year ago, a couple of years ago, maybe. I can't even remember, to be correct. I have nothing in my system. I would be willing to take a drug test or whatever the court needs.
Let's see. Do you recall, and I think this might have been what Ms. Heiss was trying to get at, do you recall filing an ex parte motion with Judge Olsaver when Ms. Papour was hospitalized? That
sounds familiar now. Yes, I do. I've filed so much. I'm sorry to confuse the courts about this, but I've had a lot of interaction with CPS from Ms. Papour and the children I've had with her. I get confused sometimes with all the stuff I have to do and file the paper. I mean, I'm getting sent papers in the mail that don't even say anything. It just shows a bunch of stuff on it. And then I'll come here and I'll get a paper that shows me what's on there. I mean, I just trying to do the best I can right here to answer your question. I got derailed, sorry.
That's okay. So that does sound familiar to you, correct?
Yes, it does. That does very much so sound familiar. And that's when I tried to go after my son to get custody of him. That's correct. I remember now. Thank you for that.
And do you recall what the judge ordered after that hearing?
He ordered unsupervised visits every other month. And I believe that on there it said half the summer, or I had so many. I might be getting it confused with the other girls now, my two daughters. I believe it's half the summer on there. If I could find the court order, it's in my other case of papers.
Does it sound familiar that your normal parenting time would be reinstated and parenting time exchanges to occur at Adrian Police Department?
Right now?
Does that sound familiar?
Yes, that does. Just the police department part, I didn't remember that. That's why I couldn't answer her honestly on that, because stuff just gets added. You know, I miss Papour a lot, so I get it mixed up a little bit. Sorry about that.
I'm just trying to clarify a couple of things. Okay. And as it relates to your license, what do you need to do to get your license reinstated? Do you know?
You know, I have waited to get my license back. I don't owe a dime. And then I went to get them back on the time I was supposed to get them back. And they told me that they had been held another 2 years. So now I'm having to deal with Lansing, and I have to go to Lansing and sit in front of a judge and committee and stuff to get them back, because for some reason they're keeping them again. I don't owe anything, but it's been tagged on there. That it might even have been this last incident that has I don't know, something's holding on to them. I have to pay more money to get a lawyer. I've been trying to do it online and stuff. It's a lot of, I can't do much stuff online or phones and computers too well, so it's overwhelming. But yeah, that's another thing that I have to address. I have plenty of rides where I go everywhere. People know that they give me rides, no problem. Friends and family.
And why was your license revoked to begin with? What was the reason?
I met Miss Kapoor in sobriety court. That's a program that they give you for 2 or more drunk drivings. That's how this catastrophe started. Children I love, great.
Okay. Thank you for your honesty, Roberto, and sharing that. Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Constantino, any questions based on all the other questions you've heard today so far?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
May I ask one question? The boy lives with his mother, right?
Correct.
If this court orders parenting time for you, you'd have to go to the mother's house to get the boy, wouldn't you?
Be in the same boat, sir.
Nothing would change, would it?
Nothing.
Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat.
Your Honor, is Miss Tiffany Papour present in the courtroom?
Yeah, she is.
Thank you. Tiffany, you are the mother of Roberto and I. And are you familiar with his father?
I am.
And did you have a previous relationship with him that was long-term, or
yes,
not really?
We were together for 6 years.
And do you have other children together?
Yes, we have. There's little Bobby, and then we have Ari and Ashton, which I get every weekend. I just took them on vacation for a month.
And those children are the ones, let me ask this question. Did you hear Mr. Anaya's testimony today?
I did.
Okay. And are the children that you just referenced that you had for vacation, are those the children that he referred to as adopted out to his aunt?
Yes, they call her mom, and I'm Tiffany, but that's fine with me. It's just important that the brothers get to spend time together, and they love coming over, and they're happy.
Okay. And do you have any custody cases as it relates to your youngest child?
Babby?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't understand.
I'm going to ask a lot of repetitive questions, and I'm sorry about that, but you're a new witness, so I'm just going to ask you again. Do you know if you have any custody cases as relates to Bobby?
Well, no, it's just as of right now, the state has jurisdiction over him, and he is considered an in-home placement, which he's placed with me.
And prior to that, did you have any other custody or support work?
Yes, I had sole physical custody of him, and his father was to have parenting time every other weekend, unsupervised.
And how did that parenting time go for Bobby and his father?
Well, I've invited him to every school event that Bobby would have, and he would just lash out and not want to be a part of it. He did come one morning to drop Bobby off at school with me, asked him if he wanted to see his classroom. He didn't want to go in. He just kind of stood by, and and left. I asked him if he wanted to be on the emergency contact, and he said, no, I have a boyfriend. Ask him. He would not show up on his visiting times. I always send him pictures of Bobby and everything he's doing. I sent him pictures of his birthday. I could not invite him to the birthday because of what was going on with CPS and everything. I had no way to contact him. I finally did contact him on Messenger. I messaged him and asked if the baby could video chat with him because it was important that he's seen him at least. He got on the phone and said, I can't be your dad because your mom hates me, and started talking badly to me. I have record of all the times that I have asked him if he was going to show up for the visit. I don't know how many times I called onto the police station and reported that he did not show up. He was reported to drop the baby off at 9 a.m. on Sundays. He never did. He never picked them up on the times he was supposed to. He did it whenever, wherever. He didn't want to do it at the police station because he drove and he has no license. At one point, he drove back to Ohio with all three of the boys in the back with no car seat. And I had many concerns about it. I did call the police. At one point, Officer Mullen showed up by foot, and I asked him to follow him to see if he was getting in his car, and I don't know what he did. I have given CPS, anyone is more than willing to contact his family. She's agreed to testify. His aunt that she was allowing Roberto to take the twins the same time he took Bobby, but he gave her the same excuses. He had to work, he was busy. I probably received $200 in child support in the past year. When Bobby there was an incident with a neighborhood boy touching him inappropriately. I am the one that called the police to report it. He is currently having services through CMH for the trauma that he was exposed to, not just with that, but with Malik in the home. But the parenting time was very inconsistent. He would not show up. I had every excuse in the book, but I have tried, which I do have documentation of if you need proof of that. I have tried to set up visits, include him in school events, which I was instructed the last time I tried to video chat, have them video chat. I even said on there, if you don't feel comfortable talking to me, we can have a third party. You can set up a time. Even if you want your girlfriend to do it, that's fine, but your son needs to know who you are. And it didn't work out. Parenting time has always just been inconsistent with not only one-on-one time with them, but as far as getting to know each other over video or whatever. I still show him pictures of him. And this last time I said, do you know who that is? And he said no. A couple months ago, he said, that's my friend. But now he just says he doesn't know who it is.
And do you recall the last time that Bobby saw his dad?
It was December of 2022. Brian and I took all three of the boys to the tree lighting at Comstock Park, and we met him and this girl. He would show up with a different girl every time he would come as well, which I would always introduce myself and be polite to them. We met them at the dollar store across the street from Comstock Park after the lighting. So that was, I believe it was December 19th or something like that. I could be wrong on the exact date.
And based on your lived experiences, I guess, why has he not seen his child since then?
I have no clue. Like I said, I have documentation of it all. I have tried to reach out. He had me blocked on everything. His aunt couldn't get a hold of him. His family couldn't. We didn't know what was going on. One of his family members actually said to me, I think Bobby was in jail for a while. Maybe that's why nobody could reach him. We just did not know where he was.
When is the last time
Bobby
that
he has a tendency of blocking me when he has a girlfriend because I don't know why.
when is the last time that you heard from Roberto for purposes of either talking to your son or seeing him, that he reached out to you?
That he's reached out to me?
Correct.
Oh, I don't even know how long. It's been years, I would have to say. It's been years. I'm always the one, and like I said, I do have documentation. I'm always the one asking if he's gonna come, asking if he's gonna see his son, asking if they can video chat, asking if he wants to be a part of his school events. I don't think that and I can guarantee he won't have proof that he has either.
And did you, since you heard Roberto's testimony, he indicated that he had dropped off supplies to you and you had given them away.
That was when Bobby was 1.5 years. He's 5 years old now. And I've had to have a PPO served on him before because he would, within the past 2 months, he's driven by my house with my son outside Bobby, yelling things at me, like I'll be back for him, and not even acknowledging his son. He does not drive by to see him. He scares him. Like I said, I've had to file for a personal protection order. That's why I asked for the visits to be traded at, or you know what I mean, them to be at the police station, which he refused to do anyways, because he said it wasn't in the court order. It was wherever he wanted it to be. But it has been a while since he has asked to see his son, asked how he was. I sent him a picture of his birthday, and he just had horrible things to say to me. Which I got a cake for all 3 of my boys, so they were happy.
So to clarify, Tiffany, you have not done anything to withhold Bobby from seeing his dad, correct? Is that your testimony?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, obviously we still liked each other. We would be together, but that has nothing to do. I actually said to him in the last conversation, he said he hated me, and I said, it doesn't matter if you hate me. That has nothing to do with your time with your son. So I would never, he's never been consistent. He does not see his other children. I know that for a fact because I had one of his older children at the campground. He does not see any of his children. He doesn't ask about them. He says he's going to show up, and he never does. I don't know when the last time he's seen any of his kids or taken care of them or I've given his older children money more than he has.
And would you have any concern today if the court were to allow him parenting time, unfettered parenting time, or go back to the custody order?
I do. So I never have worried about Roberto being physically abusive with the younger ones. He's actually really good at being proactive. Like he's playful with them. He's not mean to them at all. The only concern that I have is the twins, which are 8 years old, and Bobby. Well, he was little at the time. They say that he's never there. He's always gone with his girlfriends. They're always in the house with their grandma. When he gets them, he just leaves them with his mom. Bobby sleeps on the couch there. They all sleep in the living room. Once in a while, Bobby will sleep in the bed with him. But I do worry because he does have a history of drugs. And I worry about like him driving with no car seats. I was panicking. One of the boys already had come home and told his mother that his dad was having him.
Check that's hearsay.
Okay, well.
Okay, wait. Any response?
Your Honor, my question was about her opinion. So I believe that it's for the basis of her opinion that it would be permissible.
So it's not for the truth asserted, but to show why she took an action subsequent to what she understood.
Hearsay.
I can just take it out. That's right.
Ms. Thomas, do you want to respond any further?
Your Honor, I agree. Thank you for putting it more eloquently, that I don't believe it's being offered for the truth of the matter asserted, but rather as the basis of her opinion and concerns about parenting time.
All right, she's just indicating she can, quote, take it out. So I'm not sure that it meets your exception at this point because of that particular comment. But I'll allow you to pursue this to determine whether or not that is in fact what influenced that, or if there was something.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tiffany, so the question was about whether you had any concerns about Roberto having parenting time with Bobby, and you were stating just your concerns about drive with no car seats. And then you had stated something else, but if there's anything that you have direct knowledge of that you'd like to share that form your concern, we can continue.
Okay, so I was told, and I asked the question to my younger children if their dad had been letting them play with guns, and they said yes. I was concerned because I know in his old house he did have a loaded gun next to the bed. And he did have his daughter, which was young at the time. He's told me that he carries a gun. And I was concerned about the safety of that, and on top of having different women there every time. I don't think that is, I have had the same boyfriend for 3.5 years of Bobby's life. And I was always kind to these women that he would bring, but I didn't think that was the greatest example for him. I actually said, maybe you could just spend this 4 days a month with your children. On top of the concern of him using or drinking around the kids, which it has happened many times before. And so those are our major concerns. Also his inconsistent parenting time and how that would affect Bobby in the future. I know that he needs very consistent relationships in his life. Hence why I have been with the same person. We do not live together. Bobby calls his parents grandma and grandpa. It's just, I don't think that any of his parenting choices are positive for Bobby. And I have a lot of concerns for his safety, on top of his emotional well-being. When I was in the hospital, I was put in the hospital for a month because my lungs were filled with fluid. It was very instant. I almost died. And my sister, who lives in Adrian, had taken Bobby and Malik so that Bobby could continue in school. He's never been away from me more than 2 days in his life. And that's with his dad when he did have parenting time. And I didn't want him to have all that change. It was very scary for him to just mom not be there. And I did explain that to him, that we wanted to keep him in school and keep his routine as normal as possible. But he didn't seem to care. His response was, he'll be fine. And same when I explained to him he needs to see her face at least so he feels comfortable. I'm his dad, he'll be fine. Well, you know him, but he doesn't know you. It doesn't work that way. So just the way that he thinks, his thought process about what's right and what's wrong, what's good for him and what's not.
Thank you for that. Your Honor, I have no further questions of this witness.
Anyone have any cross?
No, I do.
Go ahead.
You're from Manistee, aren't you? That's a yes, right?
That's a yes.
All right. French ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
Are you eligible to be enrolled as a member of the Chippewa Band of Indians or any other?
I am a member.
You are a member?
I am.
Is your child, this child, eligible to be a member of this tribe?
Yes.
Have you taken any steps to get him enrolled?
No, I am not sure that is the route that I want to go. I believe that things in Lenawee County are handled just fine. That's a whole nother world stepping in, and I'm just not sure that that's the right decision.
Why?
Partly because my case with the twins went very wrong.
You don't want the Indian
No, and
community involved?
I have no problem with the Indian community being involved, but I also know that they are able to take jurisdiction over my children. And the way that I don't know what I can say, what I can't say. The way that the case went last time.
The truth would work.
Yeah, the case went last time. There was some things that were not correct. And it caused a decision that should have never been made, I believe, in my opinion. And they backed that up. And so it's a fear for me, I guess.
The department, the Bureau of Indian, or the Chippewa band took a position with respect to your custody that you didn't agree with?
Correct. That's a very sensitive subject for me. So, I mean, I shouldn't have lost my voice.
I couldn't hear you, ma'am.
I said I shouldn't have lost my voice. Mr. Roberto lied on the stand on me, so.
Is there something going on in your life now that you feel the Indian tribe could pose a threat to your domestic tranquility?
No, I mean, there's really no reason I should not enroll him. I mean, I guess it's just the fear of what happened last time. It's something I would consider doing, yes. I mean,
Did the Chippewa band take any of your children away from you?
no, they did not. They had no part in that. I mean, they did have a part in the decision, but they were not the ones that removed them, no.
All right, I have nothing further.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
And I have one more, but given the time, I don't know if we want to push through or resume on a different day.
I have available to us Tuesday, September 12th, where we already have a pre-trial and a review set. Ms. Papour, please sit down.
I'm sorry.
May she be excused? She has somewhere to go and a child that's waiting for her.
He's downstairs.
I'm offering to adjourn to the 12th.
All right.
At 2 o'clock. Is everyone available on that date?
I am.
That stands for me because I actually have court on the 12th in here.
Yes, I'm aware, Ms. Papour.
Okay.
At 1:30. So you'll have to join us a little bit sooner.
Okay.
Very good. All right. All other prior orders remain in full force and effect. We'll conduct the final pretrial, the review, as well as the rest of this trial on the 12th, as time allows. Thank you. You may be appear by Zoom if you need.
9/12/23 at what time?
Well, you better be here at 1:30.
1:30.
Yes. But we've got a number of things scheduled, all in the same manner. Okay, unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
My client's asking if he could have some visitation with his son.
That's not been discussed today. It sounds like he has had some from our bench conference. I know that he was offered some supervised visits in the past. Does that remain an opportunity for him, Ms. Harvey?
My understanding is that an assessment needs to be completed with Renee Moore before parenting time could happen. I think that perhaps in the last court order it wasn't fully stated that, but that was what we had decided in court. I think that is a bit of an issue. If we put it into an actual order, then the state could help assist him with that assessment. But I believe it's my understanding from the foster care worker that we are waiting for an assessment before parenting time.
All right. I have reviewed the file 18-45859DS. It does reflect that he should have parenting time every other weekend from Friday at 7 until Sunday at I think it's 9 a.m. There is nothing there suspending his parenting time. I do understand there's been a significant absence, but I don't see any risk at this juncture associated with parenting time, given today's developments. Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I think that the original risk that we proposed at our original hearing, and as it remains today, is simply the lack of bond and the potential risk of emotional or psychological harm based on that. But again, I'll leave it to the court to make that determination.
Ms. Hicks?
And I think the order goes on to say they meet at the police department. So that there's that extra assurance of the contact between these parties. But if we don't have a first and third or second and fourth, I don't know when that would begin since we are off track. But if we could get it determined, then it's a double-edged sword because there's an attendance expected and also tendering the child.
So the last order issued by Judge Olsaver indicates defendant's normal parenting time schedule of every other weekend should resume on Friday, January 28th, 2022, and the parenting time exchanges shall occur at the Adrian Police Department. Do you see a risk of harm associated with allowing him that time as previously ordered?
Well, I certainly would like supervised because there's so many excuses as to what goes wrong. If he comes back with a bump or a bruise, I really don't know that we can rely on this person to let us know what happened. But how about if his mother supervises, for example, and his mother can let us know if he falls off a bicycle, that's fine. But if there's a bruise or an injury that we don't account for, there's a problem. So I would ask that the grandmother, and I don't know her, but I assume she's paid for her home. She's taking care of her son and her son is taking care of her. There's some badges there of credibility, and that's my best at this time. The risk is that we can't seem to get a good answer from Mr. Anaya. And we have to go around and around and around with the excuses and we don't get information. That's the worry. So at least supervised up here with the agency, but at most back to Olsaver's order.
Ms. Constantino, do you have a position?
The tribe will always support parenting time if it's deemed safe and appropriate for the child. And based on the testimony, I believe that some form of parenting time would be appropriate at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm going to honor the last recommendation from Judge Olsaver, but also allow the department to conduct some supervised parenting time to make some observations of Mr. Anaya's parenting skills. And of course, they'll let us know if there's any issues with that. So you'll be responsible for calculating when your parenting time should have been and for exercising that pursuant to what that circuit court order last indicated and your next retrial.
Who should he contact?
About what?
Parenting time.
Well, that's as ordered in the circuit court case. So he needs to, Ms. Harvey, I suppose, could let her know, let Ms. Papour know that the court is indicating that that circuit court case parenting time order will continue to be honored during this court case, in addition to any supervised parenting time that the department would like to offer to Mr. Anaya for purposes of observation.
Your Honor, may that visit start on Friday, September 8th, just because August is a long month. I don't know if it's the first, third, or fifth weekend. And
Ms. Rose.
You're asking me when we would start it?
I have not done the math. Ms. Heiss is suggesting that you begin that weekend parenting time September 8th.
That's fine, isn't it?
Yeah. Very good. Any other questions? Okay, I will issue an order to that effect.